Now we keep talking about this topic when it comes to the escalation to World War III, the escalation of China going into Taiwan, the escalation with Russia. Well, today we're going to go along with that a little bit deeper because there are some new announcements made by Putin and also Xi. We need to focus on them because I think what they're doing is they're telltale signs of what their plans are, and they're going to further their missions. The question is, what are we going to do, and what is Trump going to do? Now, this comes at the same time of the infighting. There is some major infighting when it comes to the Republicans versus Trump. We're going to talk about what the Senate just did and how they ultimately just screwed Trump. We're also going to talk about the young Republicans, how they're trying to still ban the movement towards Trump supporters. There was a Trump supporter kicked out of St. Louis soccer game. So the infighting is still upon us. And what are we actually getting done when Senate and Congress is working against our president? We're actually going to be talking about the weather. Now, have you noticed how crazy things are? I mean, there was an earthquake in New York City yesterday. Lightning storms that are actually going across our whole nation. A new story where the Grand Canyon has a mega fire, a volcano is erupting that's changing the atmosphere. What is happening? Is it the wrath of our God? Or is it men playing God? Little g. We're also going to talk about our friend Bill Gates and what is happening to the cows that he's feeding all this quality grain to. His grain that he made up to rid the world of cattle. Well, it's actually working. We'll talk about that today. Let's dive into these stories today. This video starts right now. Hey guys, welcome to the Max. Thank you so very much for being here. If you are new, please go down here, press subscribe, ring the bell, give us a thumbs up or thumbs down, that's okay, but let us know what you think about the content of today's video. Now, we have been giving away something each and every month. Now, we gave something away yesterday. We'll be giving something away for August, so make sure you are entered by commenting below each and every video if you can. And please remember to check and make sure that you are subscribed because we've been held down and our goal is to spread this message because these things, our goal is to become wiser and have a common sense approach to the crazy world that we live in. Now let's jump into the stories of the day. First, let's talk about the escalation. Now, we've been on this escalation for about 3 to 4 days, but I think we're finally getting to the point where it's coming to a head. Let's just go back. The last few days, you've seen the talk of we're all prepared for war. We're all prepared for nuclear. We're all prepared for this. It's going back and forth from China to Russia to America. Now you're starting to involve even Iran again. Listen to this. Breaking. China Defense Minister issues a direct warning to U.S. and its allies. It says if China's sovereignty over Taiwan is challenged, meaning if America tries to step in to any situation with Taiwan, then American military bases in Japan and South Korea will be considered legitimate targets. It says Beijing will not tolerate foreign interference and we will take out the targets. Direct threats to America. Breaking. Russia, China, and North Korea are flooding Iran with weapons and ammo for massive rearmament for Iran. Their goal is to make U.S. focus on the Middle East while Iran plays, that allows for the big players like Russia and China to maneuver and take over their areas like Ukraine and Taiwan. Breaking this from World Affairs, it says Russian foreign minister says we are already in World War III, accusing the West of provoking global conflicts. It doesn't matter what they think they say in America. We are at war with America. Now that's bold words. Don't you think that? Listen, one more. Breaking. This is from Monitor. It says Chinese defense ministers issues direct warning saying we will not deal with America. We will target America if they target Taiwan. They will not interfere with us. Basically, it's saying we're going to take over these regional areas no matter if you like it or not. And again, is it our business what China and Taiwan does? Is it our business what Russia and Ukraine does? I know America wants to be its power, and I believe that you need to try to help those people out. However, we don't need to be sending billions upon billions in there and sending our men and women to be deployed for this. I mean, there's words saying that U.S. military bases could be affected. Do you realize this is not the Middle East? This is not some third-rate military like Iran or Afghanistan or even Taliban or Hamas. I mean, this is China. This is a big deal. We need to pay attention to these warnings, because if we keep allowing this to happen, did you hear what Lavrov said? He said, we're already in World War III. The question is America going to allow it to keep on going? I'm really hoping that Trump pulls back. I really do. Now, do I hate that for Taiwan or Ukraine? I mean, yes, I do. But this is not our fight. And I really hope we quit focusing on that, because here's the bigger story. Let's move to the second story. Yes, the escalation's bad. Yes, this is a warning. But to be honest with you, they're not warning us and say they're going to try to take over America. That's what we don't understand. We say the threat is real. Well, the threat is real is because we're putting our nose into things that we probably shouldn't be putting our nose into, correct? They didn't say Russia actually, Putin actually came out yesterday and said this. He said, we will never strike first, talking about America or the West. But he said, we will not strike, and we will defend. China and Russia never said anything about America. The kicker was when America decided to stand up for Taiwan or for Ukraine. Again, I believe that we can focus on peace and trade and try to work through these negotiations instead of doing it the way that we're doing it. Now, we did negotiate with India. India was going to quit buying Russian oil. But we need to negotiate with Russia and with China. I really hope Trump does that. Because, for instance, our focus needs to be here. Listen to these few stories dealing with what we're dealing with here. I mean, the Senate's let you down. The Congress has let you down. Listen to the Senate. Thune blocks Trump. John Thune just announced he will block Trump in any recess appointments that he tries to do. So your Senate and Congress are going on vacation. They're going to still come and actually do the gavel in, gavel out. So Trump cannot appoint all these people that they've held up instead of appointing. He literally says, my goal is to not allow Trump to do these recess appointments. So he's holding it over his head because he wants the power. And if that's not enough, listen to this. Breaking, we've just learned that Trump supporters are currently just being blocked from voting in the Young Republicans National Convention. So these are the leaders coming up that's becoming more conservative. What they're trying to do is out that MAGA base to make it where it becomes more staunch Rhino Republicans, establishment Republicans. It says they're outright barring members of the President Trump's slate of voting in the national election. Total chaos. This is Trump's GOP, and we're starting to see the infighting in the GOP where who has the power. They're already setting up for, post-Trump, basically. Who is going to be their leader? And so they're already banning a lot of MAGA. Another story, listen to this. Breaking, a Trump supporter was just kicked out of a St. Louis City sports game, which is basically a soccer game, wearing a MAGA hat. Now listen, he wasn't wearing anything. All it said was "Make America Great Again," like the slogan that Trump used, red hat. Who took him out? The law enforcement. What did I tell you about law enforcement? Be careful, because who they support matters. The regulation and enforcement. If they're regulating for liberals or for rhinos or for establishment, then it's going to be against Republicans or against conservatives or against MAGA. And listen, this guy that was interviewed, it was amazing. He's videoing himself getting kicked out of this game. And the guy says, we don't allow for political paraphernalia to be here. Again, it's just make America great again. It's not saying anything else. But listen to this. The guy said, he points at a flag. He said, I cannot wear this hat. You're kicking me out. But there's literally a rainbow flag hanging up right next to the American flag. He said, that's propaganda. The officer got mad and kicked him out. So the infighting is here. So that's why I don't want our focus to be fully on the world and all the problems that the world has, because we have problems here. And I believe that that's what would actually unify America's base with Trump, is that we focus on here. Here's another story that's amazing. The last 3 months, there's not been one illegal crossing from Mexico to America. That's amazing. But we lose that because we focus on everything else going on in the world. Listen to this. They've cut the workforce down another 20-something thousand. So it's like upwards of 100,000 people have lost their job in the federal government. Now we're like, oh, that's bad. They lost their job. Yeah, but what we're seeing is the federal government shrinking. It needs to shrink. We don't need as many people on the government payroll. That's good. But guess what? We don't hear about it because we focus on everything else like Ukraine and China. If we really want to get the base back, get the independent vote back, get the woke right, all these people that kind of come together and voted for Trump, the best thing to do is focus on America First policies and focus on making America truly great again. I know it's important to stand up for other people. And again, like I said in the first part, I do believe Trump can do that by peace through strength, through leverage, just like he used against India with Russia. He just did this. But we need to stay focused. And what we also need to do is, if Trump is the leader of this party, then he needs to get Thune and Johnson in line. McConnell just left, so that hurt their vote. Collins Murkowski just left, what hurts their vote. So who's actually in charge of Trump's party? Is it Trump, or is it one of these guys who are basically taking the rights away from the people that is supposed to be in office? I think the money that Congress just spent, really in the fact that Trump was saying, I don't want these things spent. The Ukrainian money, also the endowment for the democracy group that was basically promoting liberal ideologies. All those things were benefiting the establishment, not Trump. So who's actually in control? If Trump was in control, what he needs to do is threaten. Use Charlie Kirk, use people like Steve Bannon, use those people to go out and start PRing against these guys, trying to primary them and get better people that support America First policies in. Now let's move on to our weather. Listen to this. A mega fire has just hit the Grand Canyon and is creating its own weather atmosphere. A new term spreading, mega fires, blazes so massive that the general weather around it is built by systems that it created with this fire. This one sparked lightning on July 4th now has 112,000 acres scorched and tripling each and every 3 days. It's producing 40-mile-per-hour winds. It's just a bad year is what they're telling us. Now there's all of a sudden an earthquake that just hits New York City. This goes along with 2 other earthquakes that hit, the tsunamis that hit. Did you hear about the lightning that went from like Kansas to Missouri? It's like the longest recorded lightning streak in America's history. We've seen record flooding in Texas. We've seen tons of storms. What are we seeing? Are we seeing man's manipulation of weather? Or are we seeing God's wrath on America? Either one of these situations are not good. So the things that I've been looking at is being very conscientious of this, meaning if I can prepare, then I'm going to prepare. So like we've been building little microclimates, like little greenhouses, mini greenhouses, using rogue tunnels, using caterpillar tunnels, building a new greenhouse. What we're trying to do is build microclimates that we can still raise our food without being affected by some of the things that's going on. Now, is that going to change everything? No, but we're trying to figure that out. We're also stockpiling food because if we stockpile those foods, then we're not dependent on something if all of a sudden we lose crops or lose animals to the crazy storms that we've been having. I mean, we're seeing earthquakes, places we've never seen. We're seeing tsunamis. I mean, for instance, the same tsunami that was hitting Hawaii and Japan, there was a tsunami and earthquake warning for Alaska. That's crazy. And then they talked about how between the volcanoes, there was a volcano that just erupted on the other side of the world that literally went 12 miles into the atmosphere. And it said it was going to cause a chain reaction to the problems that America was going to feel. America. Now here's another thing. Have you noticed, and this is where you got to come back to either modification or God's wrath, America has seen more damage from storms over the last 10 years than any other place on earth. Now, listen to this. I'm not talking about the catastrophic hurricanes or tsunamis that hit these third world countries. I'm talking about the damage and the cost. It said that America has felt more cost based on the weather problems than any other part of the nations in America, in the world. Now, why do I find that important? Because we're the only ones that actually are trying to, quote unquote, clean the world up. China, I mean, they're burning their plastic, they're burning more coal, more nuclear, and they're not having the damage we're having. So I think what we need to realize is there a big play here? The more damage, listen, just hear me out. The more damage that we have in America, the more our insurance premiums go up. The more our insurance premiums go up, the more people can't afford homes. The more our homes go up, we realize fires and hurricanes and tornadoes and those kind of things tear our homes up, and we can't rebuild, i.e. Hawaii and California. Who buys them? Big business. I thought that's kind of weird. North Carolina, big business. All these places are getting destroyed because of weather, so it kind of makes me think that the rabbit hole of weather problems may be caused by men putting their 2 cents in. That brings me up to really the last 2 stories. The first story is Bill Gates. Listen to this You know, Bill Gates has been pushing this certain kind of feed, this certain shots, this certain modification of animals because he wants to rid the world of bad cows and their manure. This is British farmers, including TV pundit Jeremy Clarkson's farm, have been infected with bovine tuberculosis. Farmers are concerned that as it comes to the herds, all the herds had the injections of Bill Gates. Farmers in the UK and France are seeing mass slaughters of cattle. This is the same thing they've been trying to push here, by the way. Be careful. That's your lead. So weather modification, injections, all that stuff, and the sprays that they're putting into your crops, into your waterways, is actually just causing you to be more dependent on your housing and your food. Two forms of control. And then last story. We made mention this yesterday. Texas AI centers just guzzled up 463 million gallons. And so Texas now is telling their residents to cut back on their water. And we mentioned that yesterday, but 463 million gallons have been taken out of their aquifers. As AI data centers quietly drain billions of gallons of water, Texas residents are the one shouldering the burdens, and they're meant to be the ones to conserve. Listen, I love what Rob Sire says. He says, AI will take more and more of citizens' resources. The AI companies must compensate their neighbors, or we're going to lose everything really fast. So between big business, government, and all the things going on, our water, our food, and our lands are being destroyed. Isn't it weird how all that stuff works together for you to be more dependent on people to give you everything? Is that really what we want, or are we wanting more independence? We need to focus not on the world problems, we need to focus on America's problems, and let's solve those problems. Let's fix the Republicans and quit infighting and start focusing on what America needs. Mainstream Americans need food, water, and access, jobs. They need things. We don't need more higher taxes or higher insurances. We don't need to focus on things that's going to cause our animals to be sick. We don't need weather modification. We need freedom. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on today's video. God bless.